Yes, so okay, I've actually finally worked out how to use this thing. Evidently, I'm a bit of a retard when it comes to computers and technology and stuff, but I made it in the end. Uh, yeah, so I thought I'd get into podcasting. The whole like, well, I guess it isn't really podcasting. I'm just making a video. I thought it would be really fun to get into just talking because I'm a writer. I like writing, so I figured it would be a good experience to sort of air my views and just talk a lot about all kinds of stuff. I've been spending a lot of time with different people and having a lot of interesting conversations and sort of hoping that one could actually record all the conversations because we've come up with some really crazy stuff. I find a lot of views on subjects quite interesting, and I used to be quite an opinionated person. I never used to listen to people. It's weird when I think about it now because I wonder how anyone actually used to be able to stand me. But I've come to realize the benefit of having a discussion as opposed to an argument. I guess because I don't know. The thing with people is when you know something, you kind of know that you know it because you've done your research, you've found out all kinds of things, and so it's difficult to hear someone say something that's different from what you know. But the thing is, when you actually listen, sometimes you pick in little things that can actually add to your own understanding of it, even if what they're saying is wrong or right. And I actually had to learn to do that. I had to learn to listen, and I've kind of discovered that listening is one of those abilities that really is not you're not born with it. You kind of have to learn how to do it, like I said, and I think I'm getting there slowly but surely. A lot of people think I'm quite controversial. It's not deliberate, I have to say that much at least, but I have a lot of different views about all sorts of things, so I guess that can come across as a bit controversial. But anyway, that's all on the side. What's the objective of this podcast? I don't know myself. I just told you I thought it would be really fun to just talk about random shit, and hopefully I don't get a bit too repetitive by saying the same things over and over again, like the word interesting, because yeah, you might get a bit tired of that after a while. But yeah, at the moment, I've been looking into like personality. Um, so many different people have so many different types of personalities, so it's always interesting when I meet. Okay, I said interesting again. But anyway, forgive me if I say it again. There's so many different people, so many different cultures. I'm half Nigerian, half Guyanese. And I grew up in Nigeria mostly, and it's funny how with Nigerians in particular, yeah, there's no offense or you know, Nigerians are very religious and very superstitious, and it's difficult to break out of that. So it's one of those things where when you approach a Nigerian on a subject in relation to religion, the beliefs are so firm that you can never really engage in a discussion. But I find the difference when I come to school here in England at the moment. It's more interesting because people are free to believe what they want. So you have people that are a bit more speculative, a bit more in depth with all kinds of other stuff, and you sort of learn bits and bobs from people. And I'm writing a dissertation at the moment. My topic is to what extent does personality affect leadership outcomes? And it's leading me to look into all kinds of things, though I haven't actually started the work yet. But just thinking about it in that framework, how a person might not be able to express themselves, but they still have something to say. But if you are good at expressing yourself, would that limit you from listening to the other person simply because you feel this person doesn't know anything? But it's funny how when you pay attention to little things like facial expressions, how reading a person's face, what they're saying, might be different from what their face is actually expressing. So you can read a lot more meaning to it, and that's kind of what like defines a personality. The things that ooze out, and generally speaking, they come from inside. And people a lot of the time associate personality with culture. Um, I don't know. So you might see a person and think, oh, he's got a British accent, so that's how he is, blah blah blah. But then you see the person in a different setting, and the person is completely different from the person you expect. Um, and I can relate with that quite easily because, like, with me and my Nigerian friends, for example, like I get into a whole other mode, quote unquote, and the conversation is different, the way the attitude that comes out is different, etc. And a lot of the time one can stop and think, okay, is one being hypocritical, or is it just the certain types of people that you speak to that bring out certain other elements of your character, like sense of humor. You can meet someone and the person is not a very laughable person, so you find that you're more serious with that person. You're more likely to talk about something more engaging as opposed to just messing about and joking, simply because you know that that person's personality is that way, and so your personality either bends in order to suit that, or an element of your personality comes out or is suppressed, or one way or the other. You get the general gist of it. I was thinking about this the other day because a friend of mine. This is a while ago though. A friend of mine did said something. She said, "I'm a very different person in real life than I am from the person on Facebook." And she said that, and I was a bit, taken aback really, because started making me wonder all kinds of things. Is it that I'm just a hypocrite? And sorry, my battery's dying. Is it that I'm just a hypocrite, etc.? And it's weird when someone confronts you that, like, front on with something like that, and it really causes you to put yourself into questioning yourself, sort of thing. That do you give off the vibe that you want to, sort of thing. Not necessarily that giving off a vibe is the idea of life, or that you need to be a certain way in order to please people, or adopt a certain kind of personality to convince people to like you, etc. You're either a likable person or you aren't, but I guess by adopting to it, that is when you become a hypocrite. But what if you enjoy talking about God, and you also like sports, and you also are into all sorts of other stuff, you know? And does that make you a hypocrite because when you're with certain people that enjoy those certain things, or the kind of things you talk about, you get into, etc.? So it kind of affects how you are with certain people. But yeah, back to the issue of personality. You're still on it. Uh, so many people do all kinds of things for different reasons, and one has to wonder, what are the thoughts that go through people's heads when they do certain things? Is it because they don't like you, or they're just trying to avoid doing certain things, or it's just when you really get down to analyzing personality, yeah, it's like communication. Yeah, they say communication is 20% speaking and about 80% body movement, etc. So, what exactly is it that makes up personality? Is a personality when a person walks in a certain way or dresses a certain way, and so it's an expression of themselves if they are a certain way? Or is personality like deeper than that? Is it more in depth? Is it culturally rooted? Is it that if you are from a specific place, you are like this? Or is there any room to like break out from all of that? Is there, I don't know, a Chinese person that's severely English, if you know what I mean, in terms of thinking and so on? Because different cultures just think differently, you know. I grew up in Nigeria, so like that is often like what I compare a lot of things to, like, because Nigerians, generally speaking, I'm sorry to say, are quite selfish in the way they think. You see, so it's more about the progress of the individual as opposed to the collective society. And this can be seen in all kinds of things, like in the traffic on the road, where you have, I don't know, an Okada driver just moving on the sidewalk and doing all kinds of things. And you have I don't know, I don't know, the president or some random guy steals a whole lot of money. There's like 100 billion, that's a budget. The president can come on television and say, "Yes, I stole the money, and there's nothing we can do about it." It's just a whole different mentality. I mean, no one is saying that crime doesn't happen in Europe and other kinds of places, because it's just the mentality. Like I said, is different. They would have 100 million, and perhaps someone would pinch 2 million out of it, and then they use the rest to actually complete the job that they intended to, and so on. But it's so point blank where I come from. Take it or leave it. Don't give a shit. Blah blah blah. And is this our culture? Um, is this can this be like a defined personality? And you say Nigerians are like this. To a certain extent, yes. I mean, there's a reason why we have stereotypes and that sort of thing. So it's not baffling to understand why anyone would think that way. And so I've just been spending a lot of time just this issue of personality and just watching the way people behave and so on, and I've learned so much from it. I've learned to listen a lot more, because of that, and like I said, it's been amazing learning. So I decided that what I was gonna do is I was gonna start creating podcasts. So this is podcast videos or whatever. Uh, this is the first of